Hi everyone, Crista Cowan here with another episode of the Barefoot Genealogist. Today we are talking about media in your online family tree. I've had lots of questions and requests about how to work with media, how to upload photos and documents, some of the different features that are available, and so I thought that we'd just spend some time covering it today. I thought this would be a really short presentation, but as I started putting it together, I realized there are a lot of little features that you might want to know about, so I've just kind of included it all, and we'll see if we can't get through it in the time we have together. So let's go ahead and dive in. Let's start with what types of media you can upload. First of all, you can upload pictures, but you can also upload digital images of documents. So for example, if you have a copy of a birth certificate or a marriage certificate that you've obtained either from your personal, family collection, or that you've ordered from an archive or a state vital records office, you can scan those and put those kinds of documents online. Also, if you have copies, like of old wills or letters, anything that you can scan and create an image out of, you can upload. You can also upload stories, and there are a couple of different file formats that are accepted on your tree. You can do it as some kind of like a Word document or a text file, or you can do it as a PDF. So those are the types of media that you can upload. Let's talk about what restrictions there are. Excuse me. First of all, if you read the submission agreement when you upload your media, one of the things that we try to make very clear is that you can only upload media for which you hold the copyright, for which you have the permission of the copyright holder, or that stuff which is no longer under copyright. I would encourage you to just make yourself familiar with copyright law. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't want to give you too much direction, but I do encourage you to read those content submission guidelines, and I'll show you where those are in just a moment, about some of those copyright restrictions. Now, one of the things that a lot of people don't realize is that if you didn't personally take the photo, you do not hold the copyright necessarily. Taking the photograph, the photographer owns that copyright. And so just be aware of that. There are, of course, a lot of old photos that are out of copyright, no longer under copyright, or you can contact the copyright holder to receive permission. The other major restriction that we place on media upload is that you should not be uploading photographs of living people without their consent. So you can upload photos of yourself or your own minor children, but anybody else that's living, you need their consent to upload photos of them. So those are just some of the basic restrictions. Here's where you're going to find those content submission guidelines. When you go to upload media, you will actually see a little link over here for the content submission agreement. If you click on that, it gives you all of the legalese about the agreement that you're entering into as you upload those photos or documents. So I would encourage you to read it and just become familiar with that so that you know what restrictions you're operating under as well as what guidelines you are agreeing to. Now, let's get down to the meat of this thing, which is how you upload media. There are a couple of different ways to do it. You can upload large groups of media at once. So for example, I've just gone through and scanned a lot of my grandmother's old photographs and slides, and I have all of those stored on my computer. And so I can go through and upload large groups of media at once, whether they relate to the same person or not. Or I can upload media to one person at a time. So let me just walk you through both of those options. Let's start with one person at a time. This is my great-grandmother. Actually, she's my great-great-grandmother. I'm going to click here on her mother, and you'll see here I've already have a picture uploaded here, and so I've got my little media gallery, and there's just a link right here to add media. I can click on that, and I can then click on upload photo. Now, photo in this case is a generic term. It just means an image, so it can be a photo or it can be a document that has been scanned, either one. That takes you to the upload photo screen where it allows you to select the files that you want to upload. In this case, I'm just going to upload a single document that pertains to her. So if I come in here to on my computer where I've stored these photos, I just yesterday actually located an 1898 obituary for her, and that was kind of exciting for me. Had not seen that before. Now, here the media has been uploaded. I can view it in full size to make sure that it's okay. I also have the option here to use it as the primary photo for her. Now, because I already have an actual photo of her, I'm not going to select this box right now. You can change the title of this file if you want. What it does is it imports whatever the file name was on your computer. But I could come in here and I could say, I could just change it so that it looks a little bit better. Obituary 1898, right? I can then come here and I can say this is an 1898 obituary, and I could put in the exact date if I know. And this particular obituary ran in the Lehigh Banner here in Utah. Now, I can change the category because this is not a portrait or a family photo, which is the default. The other options here are site, building, or place, headstone, and then document and certificate. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and select that because it is an obituary. Now, I have a couple of options now. When I select document or certificate, pay attention here. Let me toggle back to this. See here, I just have a description field down here. But as soon as I select document or certificate, it gives me the option of actually transcribing that document right here in the media item. So if I wanted to transcribe what was in this obituary so that there was readable, searchable text, I could do that here. For the purposes of time, I'm not going to do that right now, but that is an option. Then I can add an additional description here. For example, this obituary ran in the Lehigh Banner on, let's see if I can remember what date it was here. If I come into my tree, I might be able to remember what date it was. Let's flip over here. It ran on the 19th of July, 1898. So 19 July, 1898. And then I could actually even come up here and change this date to 19 July 1898, since that was the day that the original obituary ran in the newspaper. And then I can click, then I have the option here of attaching this to another person, which I could do, which you'll want to do if it is a photo of multiple people or a headstone with multiple people listed on it. I could, if I wanted to, attach it to the other people who are mentioned in the obituary. In this case, I'm just going to go ahead and click Save. And now, what we're going to see here, if I look here at the media gallery, is I have that original photo. I also now have her obituary listed there. So that's just how to add a simple photo or document from a person page. You also can upload, like I said, you can do a bulk upload of a whole bunch of images and then sort through them later. Here's where you're going to do that. When you're looking at your tree or anybody on your tree, you have this little link here in the middle at the top called Tree Pages. If you hover over that, one of the options there is Media Gallery. So you're going to want to go ahead and click on that. That's going to take you to a page that looks a little bit like this. Here is all of the media that I have in this tree right now. And as you can see, it's for all different people, it's all different kinds of media, photos, documents, tombstones, whatever, right? I can then go to Add Media, and I can upload media from my computer. Again, it takes me to that upload page where I can read the content submission agreement. I can then select files, and the way that you select multiple files is you just hold down, if you're using a PC, you just hold down the Control key as you click each of those images, so that it just walks you through selecting images for multiple people or multiple images here in my, so there I've got 4 or 5 of them selected, and I can just click open, and now it's going to take a while. You can see I'm uploading 5 images. It's going to take just a minute to do that, and then once they're uploaded, it will take me again to this step where I can add titles, categories, dates and locations and descriptions to any one of those photos. Now I could just skip this step right now if I wanted to, and then come back and do that later. Sometimes it's easier to do that. Now you can see here in my media gallery, here are the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 photos that I just added to my tree. I can then go in and edit those at any time. So I can click here. Here's a photo of, this is another photo that I just obtained this week. It's not the greatest quality, but I'm thrilled to have it. This is my great-grandmother for whom I am named. The only picture I have, well, I have 2 pictures of her, both as an adult. She passed away very young, and so my mother never knew her. My grandfather barely knew her, and he was her mother. And then this is my great-great-grandfather, and this is the first photo I've ever seen of him. And so that was really exciting to me to receive this week. Actually got this from a DNA match that is a second cousin that I had never met or even heard of, and here he had this photo available, and so he has shared that with us. And so that's really exciting to me, to both to have that match through DNA and also to find this photo. And so now I can do a number of things here on this edit page, or this image page. Now I have the option here to edit the information. That takes me again to a screen that's similar to the one when you first upload it, where you can title the picture, add a description, a location, a date, and a type of image. I also have the option here, if I look in this, under this tools section, to add photo tags, which is really fantastic, because what it allows me to do is it allows me to tag different people in the picture so that I know, or anybody who looks at this photo knows, who these people are. So I can just come in here and I can add the names. I can add another photo tag. I can just go through each of the people in this picture and I can add a tag about who these people are. Now these are my great-grandmother's sisters, and I can't off the top of my head remember which one's which. I think one of them is Mary and one of them is Nan, but I'll have to go back and look, so I don't want to tag things incorrectly, so I'll have to check my family tree before I do that. Now if I scroll down just a little bit further, I have the option here now to attach this to people in my tree. So I'm going to go ahead and click attach. I'm going to type in my grandmother's name, and you'll see as I start typing it, it brings up the people in my tree who match that. And now I can attach that to her in my tree. So now if I go to her profile, this image has now been attached. Now, I'm not going to re-upload the image, I'm just going to attach it to another person in my tree. And so then I'm going to bring up her father, and I'm going to attach it to him. Okay, and now it's attached to both of them. I can then do the same thing with each of her sisters. Even though I don't know which one's which in the photo, I know that's who they are. And so I can still attach it to them in the tree. So hopefully you're seeing how I'm doing this. I can't remember if Nancy's an O'Brien or not. She's not. She was actually a child, I think, from a previous marriage, so she has a different last name. So that's how you can attach. You can tag people in the photo so that when you hover over it, it'll tell you who they are. You can also attach a single photo to multiple people in your tree. If you scroll down just a little bit further, you'll see you can also attach it to people in another tree that you own or have editing or collaboration rights on. So for example, if you have a tree that is, if you don't have a single family tree, and we all know how I feel about that, if you don't have a single family tree, if you have multiple trees, you might need to attach it to multiple trees, even though it's the same person in multiple trees. So we do give you that option as well. Okay. Final thing on this page that I just want to show you is this opportunity to share it. I would encourage you to do that. It's always interesting to me to see the responses that I get, particularly on Facebook from my family and friends, as I share some of these old images and explain who the people are and what the connections are. It's just a way to draw your family a little bit closer, maybe to interest some of them in family history a little bit more than they might have been otherwise. So again, let me just review really quickly. When you're on a person page, you can add media directly for that person, Or if you are in your media gallery, let me return to my media gallery. When you're in your media gallery, you can add a whole bunch of media at once and then go through one by one and add titles, dates and places, descriptions, tag people, and then attach it to the appropriate people in your tree. So I would encourage you to play around with that a little bit and get used to doing that. We talked about how to attach it to another person in this tree, or if you scroll down further there on the right, a person in another tree. And then I would encourage you to add those photo tags, those names and descriptions, those locations and dates. Those do a few things. First of all, it helps you keep straight what's going on with that particular image. Second of all, any text that you enter there in the description field, in the title field, in the location field, that becomes searchable if your tree is public, which means other people that might be connected to you that might be searching for Ada Mae O'Brien or an O'Brien family living in Arkansas, like that information becomes metadata that is searchable so that other people can find those images. Now, let me just share with you a couple of quick tips for managing media, and then one bonus tip, and then we'll wrap up. One of the things that I would encourage you to do is just to review your media gallery for duplicate images. I think there was some confusion for a little while about how media could be uploaded. Some people have attached things to their tree and they've attached it from multiple places, and so they've ended up with some duplicate media. And so if you just come into your media gallery here, go ahead and just review it, look through visually, you're going to have to do it visually, look through this and see if you have duplicates in your tree. Sometimes, for example, I have this photo here that is my great-grandmother and 8 of her siblings. This photo, in some cases, in some trees, has been put in 9 times because there's 9 people in that picture. And you not only do you not need to do that, but it takes up unnecessary space in your tree. And so if you just delete 8 of those photos and then take the one photo that you have and attach it to all 9 people, that's going to be a much easier way for you to manage your media. So review your media gallery for duplicate images, delete whatever duplicates you have, and then you can then attach a single image to multiple people where needed. I do that with photos that are group photos. I do that with tombstones where there are multiple people listed on the tombstone. I'll do that with marriage certificates that I have ordered away for and received and scanned. I'll do that for, sometimes I have a couple of image tags that I use just to keep track of some things in my tree. I only have that image in there once, but I've attached it to multiple people in my tree. And then just check your media to make sure that it's attached to all the appropriate people. Spend a little time here. So for example, if I come in here, I have this old photo in here that I just realized today. This is my 3rd great-grandfather and one of his wives and some of his adult children. And I realized as I looked at this today while I was getting ready for this presentation, I've only attached it to him. And so I need to go through and make sure I know who each of these children are and which one is his wife, and then attach it to those other people in that tree. So spend some time just managing your media, looking at your media gallery, seeing what you've got, seeing what needs to be deleted, cleaned up, see what needs further information added or more people attached. Just as a little bonus tip to wrap up here, let me just share with you that in Family Tree Maker, you can actually further categorize your media. And so if you're using Family Tree Maker and you're syncing it with your online tree, if you have a lot of photos and images and documents, this media gallery is going to be really full, and there's not an easy way to filter through or to sort through this information. However, in Family Tree Maker, we do give you the ability to further categorize your media. So I, for example, have given media categories. So I can come in here and I can say, you know what, I want to see all group photos that I have attached to my tree. Well, there's only 2 of them. That's a lot more manageable. I want to see all person photos I have attached to my tree. or I want to see any photos of houses. I think I have one. I want to see all census records. This also in Family Tree Maker allows you to see all of your media, right? So with Family Tree Maker, every time you attach a document from an Ancestry.com database, we're also downloading a copy of that to your computer in Family Tree Maker. So in your tree here, it doesn't show up in your media gallery. That would become very unwieldy. But in your Family Tree Maker, it does show up in your media file. And so I have things like census records all notated that that's what they are. And so I can view them all at once. Birth records, marriage records, I can come through and look at these by category, military records or photos or documents. There's also here a category, and this is going to be a little embarrassing, there's a category for uncategorized, and you can see I have a little bit of work still to do, where I can quickly just look at anything that I have not yet categorized. And so I can just click on this, I can come over here to edit my categories. This is a death record, and I also am going to categorize it as a vital record. So now I've got two categories for this one document, and now it's bumped into a category. So Family Tree Maker just allows you a little bit more granular control over the media items that you have. You can also do searches to see information that needs to be titled, people that need to be attached, all of that you can manage a little bit easier in Family Tree Maker, but it certainly is doable in your online tree, especially if your tree is not that large or if you don't have that many media items yet attached. Well, that is all I have for you today. I hope that was helpful and useful information. I hope that means that you'll go out and get all of your old pictures scanned and start uploading and attaching them. It's certainly something that I am working on. If you have any questions, I will be available on chat if you're watching this live in just a few minutes to answer any additional questions you might have about this topic. If you're watching an archived version of this video on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment. I do monitor those and answer as needed. If you have suggestions for further broadcasts, other episodes, other topics you'd like to see discussed in future episodes of the Barefoot Genealogist, please send me an email at ask@ancestry.com. I do review all of those, and we'll be putting together the September calendar fairly soon. Until next time, this is Crista Cowan. Have fun climbing your family tree.